Have you ever talked to an AI and just been totally blown away by what it says? I mean, it can write poetry, it can debug your code, it can explain quantum physics like it's nothing. It just feels so smart, so human. And it really makes you wonder, right? Is it actually thinking in there? Or is something else entirely going on? Well, let's get into it. Seriously, what modern AI can do is kind of breathtaking. The way models like GPT-4 can spit out this incredibly creative, coherent text, it really does feel like there's a spark of magic happening. And you know what? It's not just us who feel that way. Even the top researchers are stunned. Get this, researchers at Microsoft were so impressed with an early version of GPT-4 that they actually said it could be seen as an early form of AGI, artificial general intelligence. Now, that is the holy grail of AI research. We're talking about a machine with the same kind of flexible general smarts as a human being. The performance is just, it's remarkable. So that brings us right back to the big question. We see it doing all these things that we totally connect with high-level human thought, and it's so easy to jump to the conclusion that it must be thinking. It feels completely natural. But is it the right conclusion? Okay, to figure this out, we have to pull back the curtain and see what's really running the show. Because all that magic has a surprisingly simple but unbelievably powerful principle at its core. And it all comes down to the difference between real thinking and just being really, really good at predicting. Right, so here's the absolute key. What we usually call AI these days is a large language model, or LLM. And at its heart, an LLM is a prediction machine. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the autocomplete on your phone, just, a billion times more powerful. It's been fed a massive chunk of the internet. And from all that text, it's learned the statistical patterns of how words fit together. Its entire job from moment to moment is just to ask itself, okay, based on these last few words, what's the most probable word to say next? This chart really nails the difference. Over here, you've got human thinking. It's messy. It's based on our experiences, our beliefs, our actual understanding of how the world works. But then over on this side, you have AI prediction. It's not thinking about what a word means. It's just mathematically calculating the odds of what word should come next, based on patterns. It's an incredible mimic of intelligence, for sure, but there's no genuine comprehension there. This whole idea, the difference between giving the right answer and actually understanding something, it isn't new. Philosophers have been chewing on this for decades. And there's this brilliant thought experiment that just makes it crystal clear. It's called the Chinese room argument. So let's walk through it. Imagine you, an English-only speaker, are locked in a room all by yourself. People start slipping pieces of paper under the door with Chinese characters on them. Now, you have zero idea what they mean. But you have a massive library of rule books. And these books tell you exactly which symbols to write down in response to the symbols you just got. You're just matching patterns, following instructions. Now, from the outside looking in, your answers are perfect, flawless. The person on the other side of the door is asking you complex questions in Chinese, and you're providing these perfect, coherent answers. They are absolutely convinced they're having a conversation with a fluent Chinese speaker. But here it is, the million-dollar question. Do you, the person inside that room, actually understand a single word of Chinese? And the answer is, of course not. Not a word. You've just become an expert at manipulating symbols. You follow the rules, you give the right output, but there's no understanding, zero comprehension. And the whole point of this argument is that this is exactly what a large language model is doing. It's the person in the room flawlessly manipulating symbols it doesn't actually understand. So if it's all just symbol manipulation, what about those Microsoft researchers, the ones who saw sparks of AGI? Well, it's interesting because even they admit there are some pretty big potential limits to this whole design. First off, they totally confirm what we all see. The performance of these things is insane. It's often at, or even way better than a human level for a lot of tasks. Nobody's arguing about how powerful or useful this tech is. But, and this is a huge but, from that very same paper, they say that to get to true artificial general intelligence, we might need a whole new approach, something that goes beyond next word prediction. So even the most optimistic experts are saying that the current method, as powerful as it is, might not be the road that leads to real conscious thought. All right, so after pulling back the curtain, going through the philosophy, what's the final verdict? What is AI really? At least right now. Let's boil it down. The big takeaway is that today's AI is a super sophisticated prediction engine, but it's not a thinking mind. It works by manipulating symbols based on patterns. just like the person in the Chinese room, without any real understanding. And that means it can act humanly without thinking humanly. So really, the best way to see it is as this incredibly powerful tool, kind of like a mirror that reflects all the human language it was trained on, but doesn't actually understand any of it. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating and maybe slightly unsettling final thought. We've kind of figured out that what we're looking at right now is a simulation of thought, not the real thing. But what happens as these simulations get better and better? As they get faster, more creative, more human? At some point, how will we even be able to tell the difference?